In the process of converting this old stone barn in the foothills of the Alps that is hundreds of years old into our new home, we must unfortunately somehow adapt this old structure to meet the modern-day code requirements of new construction. In this situation, that requires us digging down over 2 feet through clay and solid rock in order to install a crawl space and insulation. The problem here is that the walls and foundations do not run deep enough to meet this requirement. So that means we have to slowly excavate and underpin with concrete and stone.
So just like with the fireplace in the living room, there's no foundation under these stairs, which isn't surprising. It's not needed the way that they built. And I can't imagine anyone thought that hundreds of years later I would be digging underneath what they created just to meet modern day code requirements. But it does mean that I need to excavate under these stairs and underpin them with a pillar of concrete. Things just got dramatically more complicated. See, when they build a stone house like this, they don't care too much about level, keeping things level. And unfortunately, they built a fairly large slope from the door to the bottom of the stairs. We are trying to match this entire house to the floor of the front threshold, which we're not going to move. It's beautiful. And then you pour a level concrete floor. Well, unfortunately, that level concrete floor comes beneath the stairs by nearly 2 inches, about 5 centimeters. So the options are to raise the threshold, which is not possible. We'd have to completely destroy the doorway. Option 2 is to, as they did, pour a sloped floor up to here, which we're just not going to do. It's a pretty steep slope in just a small section. And option 3 is to underpin invisible stone, which I'm not excited about. So that means that what I would do is pour the concrete, and what I had planned to do originally, just like with the fireplace, is pour the concrete all the way up flush to the bottom of this. If I did that, it would have visible concrete, about 3 fingers of visible concrete, and that would be very ugly. You can't quite put a base mold trim on beautiful stairs like this. That would be a bit weird. But what you can do is find stone like this, pour your concrete about to this high. Once it sets, come back and fit stone, visible stone underneath it. Oh, but that is a lot of work. So despite our garden being unbelievably neglected, it's still producing. Purple cabbage is becoming one of my new favorite vegetables. I think it's rather underrated. So I've dug down until we've hit bedrock, just a little bit further than the foundation technically needs to be, but I wanted to hit bedrock to make sure that it was solid. And before I build the forms and pour the concrete, I want to make sure that I find the stone, have enough stone, that it's all the same thickness, that it fits together well, or at least I have a good feeling it's going to fit together well, so that I know how tall to pour the concrete. So we'll have some lime mortar filling this in. It's not terrible. It's the, but realistically, it's the only solution. All right, so I've poured the cement, exact thickness of that stone, with some shrinkage. The concrete will shrink as it dries a little bit, just to give me an extra maybe centimeter or so. And then I will squeeze that stone in and add a little bit of mortar. And this part will be finished. And then after this cures, I'll move on further down the line until the entire thing is finished. So I've mentioned many times before how much of a nerd I am. I've been into drones since before they were really a thing. I got into them before you could buy them. You had to build them yourself. But this guy's different. See, this guy doesn't require a controller, and it flies by itself. So this is the Hover X1, which they've kindly sent to me to test out. This guy is so fun because it takes zero skill to operate. This would be perfect for anyone who's looking to get cinematic shots without having to learn how to operate an expensive, heavy, bulky, sometimes dangerous drone. You simply press a button, tell it what to do. Right now it's following me, but it has a total of 5 different modes that you can enable. And then when you're ready to land the drone, all you have to do is put out your hand and it lands itself right in your hand. So the Hover X1 has 5 different flight paths, including hover, zoom out, follow, orbit, bird's eye, and a custom flight path. And all you have to do is press a button. Follow. It will confirm what mode you're in and then tell it to fly. And then it takes off and it will do the mode that you have just told it to do. It's easy. Now, because the propellers are fully enclosed, you can catch this mid-air, you can fly it around people without the concerns of hurting someone. And then when you're finished, just fold it up, toss it in your backpack, and you're on your way. If you're interested in learning more, I will leave a link in the description below, and thank you to Hover for sponsoring today's video. So it's that time of year. We have several trees are fruiting right now. We have Cornelius cherry, which
we read is if you pick the wrong Cornelius fruit, is that how you pronounce it? Then it's very toxic.
Nah, slightly toxic. Just slightly.
Don't eat it.
I don't know.
It's not worth the risk, I don't think.
I'm not the best at identifying things, but we also have our chestnut trees are in full bloom, fruiting chestnuts. And recently we had a gardener to the property who was walking around looking at the property, and honestly his jaw was dropping, his eyes were big, because he was saying how unique and special this property is with the terraces and how the terraces are exposed to the sun. He was saying this property in general can produce fruits that no one else can in the valley, or most people can't in the valley. So we're very excited to plant fruit trees and have them bear fruit. We're just waiting a little bit longer because we need to flatten the terraces first before we can plant any fruit trees.
So not only do we have a ton of work inside the house, we also have a ton of work throughout the rest of the property. We have these vines growing on these stones that are called spina, I believe, and they will basically destroy the stone walls. They grow through them and can knock them down. So today I am working on chopping them down, cutting them off of the wall so that they don't overtake the walls. But as of right now, we don't know of any way to actually destroy these so that they don't continue to grow. So if anybody has any information about this, any suggestions, we would love to hear it. Because right now, all we can do is chop them down.
Yep, so just grab this and basically use it to scrape it out. You can take the dirt out if you want.
It's really hard.
Yeah, I know. And just, let me have that for a second. This guy's the real Rancola. This guy is old and dull. Just proof for everyone who's going to freak out that she's using this. It's a blunt tool. This guy, on the other hand, it's called a Rancola. It is a traditional instrument for this region.
Instrument? It doesn't even play music.
A traditional tool for this region. It is very sharp. But it has strong steel. It's meant to dig into the dirt. It's meant to hack down trees. They're very proud of this guy in this region. When people walk around and hike, they'll actually wear one behind their back like this. And as they're hiking, if they see something that needs to be taken care of, they'll take it out and hack it down. Oh, look, Alexa.
The car was dying.
Yep.
For real.
A lot of work. Alexa, should we take this stone down?
As long as I know that nothing will be destroyed.
Well, as long as you stay out of the way, it'll be okay. This just came down 2 weeks ago.
Get way out of the way, baby.
Yeah, step back. Oh yeah, it's a lot looser than it was earlier.
Then we should get going and tear it down.
That's a fun looking stone.
That is cool.
Yeah, that looks like a table.
That would make a cool table.
I just don't understand, like, how in the world did they lift that up there like that? Like, there's no way even 3 people together could lift that. I don't know, that's a mountain, honey.
Oh, this is mountain?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's a huge hole. Biggest hole ever.
Yeah. The stairs are halfway
Did the
floating right
excavator
now.
do this?
The daddy and mommy excavators did. I think it's firm enough that we can actually remove the mold. Do you girls want to remove it with me?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me put my art supplies down.
It's a little bit early, but I think it'll be okay. Chloe, you can do the first bit. Come over here. Can you use your super strength to knock this out? Use the hammer and whop on it right there. So going upwards, not down. Not down, go up. There you go.
I want to try.
Okay, now step back, Chloe. Alexa will do the next. All right, Alexa, come here. Here, will you take this out?
Okay.
Yep, and then the next one, I'll take it from you. This one here.
Wait, there's something.
You gotta push down as you gotta push in and then pull the trigger. Hold on. All right, pull. Good job. And then give it a good whop or pull on it. That's whopping it the wrong way. Whop it the other way. There you go. Pull it out. And then
Bye.
you wanna do another one? Chloe, how about you do this one? Chloe, come over here.
Where's the tray?
Okay, and then when it pulls all the way out, you gotta stop. Okay?
I'll get it.
There you go.
I'll
job.
take it.
All right. Oh, looking good.
Yeah. Now that was a hard one. That's why you're doing this now.
So these boards are up as a form
For
to hold the concrete,
And there's gonna be stairs.
because the concrete goes in as a liquid, and then after about 20 hours or so, it forms into a solid.
That's cool.
So now that it's solid, we can take these off.
Taking the thing
Oh,
off.
look at that.
We helped, and so mommy, so Daddy actually let me hammer something, and I had to go, and it flied in the air, and then it's over there now because it blew it with the hammer.
And Chloe unscrewed one and accidentally whip piece and actually put it on my skins.
There we go.
Wow.
So nice.
So you're gonna fill this with
Stone.
stone.
But first I need to
Okay.
I'm gonna go in the garden. I'm going to go look for more strawberries.
Okay, sounds good.
It looks like a block of concrete.
I'm just cleaning it up to fit the stone. Heather, behind you, the square stone.
Yeah.
Let's see how well it fits. I think it goes this way. Goes this way. It's still a little fragile. Oh.
It's the stone at the top, I think.
Tight fit.
Yes.
That's why you do it now while it's still
Yeah.
soft. I couldn't trowel it to make it smooth. To take down the high spots. So I gotta chisel them out a little bit.
It's close.
Look at the tomato I found.
That's really pretty.
Alexa said it was white. It looks.
Can we eat it?
No! We have to save it. It looks like the tastiest tomato ever.
Chloe, can you tell me I did a good job?
You did a good job.
Thanks. I didn't really, but thank you. Yeah, because I got so greedy and I poured the concrete so tall. It doesn't look the best. I don't like this gap here.
There would have been a gap there anyway, though.
There would have been, but I would have been able to close it just by a few more millimeters if I hadn't poured this so tall, because I would have been able to prop it from underneath. But
It's okay.
there always would have been a gap, just because this stone here curves up.
Exactly.
There's nothing I can do about that.
It's gonna be just fine.
Yep, not bad for my first time, I guess. So it's not perfect, but it's not terrible. At least from the normal perspective. Whoop, tripped. At least from the normal perspective, looking from here, it looks great. We're gonna do, that's a 30 centimeter stone. We're gonna do another 30 centimeter stone on this side next, and then we will have a 60 centimeter, twice the size, running across there. All right, 49 and a half.
It's that again.
Yeah, it's approximately the bottom of the floor.
Okay.
In theory, should come
We'll go
across
there.
there.
And then we can fill this in with kind of like littler stones like
Which
this.
is what they've done on the rest of the stairs.
Right.
That plus a little bit of mortar, and
Right.
it should tie all together.
Yeah, it'll be beautiful, I think. So this step will be a few inches
Yeah, like 3 fingers.
bigger than the other steps, just because of the way that the floor is sloped. But I don't think it'll be a problem at all. I think it's going to be just fine.
Is the floor gonna be that deep?
Yeah,
The floor will come to
will
here.
come to that line.
Cool.
But we had
Yeah.
to dig down for everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, the concrete and wood and stuff.
Yep.
Tell me what you found. How many tomatoes do you have in there?
So many. Mommy, hold this one.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4,
You need 2 hands.
5,
Oh my goodness, those are big ones.
6,
Good job, Chloe.
7.
Whoa. Oh.
One more. 8.
Chloe.
Cool.
Chloe. Do you like gardening?
Yeah.
I also saw a pepper, but it's green, but it's big, so I don't know if we can pick it or not.
I think the pepper needs another couple weeks.
Wow.
I smell a good one.
Wow, big one. Nice. So Chloe is my little gardening buddy. She loves to come down here and search for any food that's growing, little tomatoes and strawberries, and she loves to pick them and bring them up to us and show us what she's found. She's having so much fun.
I found 2 little tomatoes there, but I can't reach
They're a
them.
little spiky in there. Our garden's a bit wild and crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get one.
You gonna get it?
Come on, that little guy. You're ripe. You need to get out. How's my clay like? What's
See the
that?
giant green one?
That's not a tomato.
That's a giant tomato.
That's a pumpkin.
No, that's a tomato.
What?
That's a giant tomato. Yeah.
That's a tomato?
Yeah.
Alexa said it was a pumpkin.
No, it's a giant tomato. We planted some big tomatoes and we planted some little tomatoes.
That's the biggest tomato I've ever
I
seen.
know. It's
Mommy?
a giant green tomato. So obviously we should have put in something for our tomatoes to climb on. I understand that they are climbing, but we just never got to it, and now they're just kind of everywhere. Next year, my plan is to have maybe even an archway going from this side to the other side of the garden so that we can have the tomatoes growing up and over. I think that would be really cool, and then you just see it up and pick it, and it would be really beautiful. That's my plan for next year. We'll see. We'll see if we can get to it then. Okay, should we go find Daddy and Alexa?
No.
You having
This
fun?
is fun. Get that one. Ha! Got you, little tomato. Can't trick me.
At some point, this does all feel a little bit silly to be digging down, realistically compromising the foundation, only to rebuild the foundation. But that's what we have to do. I noticed in the last video there were so many comments and questions about why are we actually even digging. So let's visualize it for a second. So if this line is the finished floor right here, we have to run pipes and electricity, and we have to insulate and have vapor and moisture barriers. That all takes up space, but we also have to pour a concrete footer, a foundation around the entire house, which is required to be able to convert it into a livable home. So, which we don't need to get into that because, yeah, the house has been standing for hundreds of years, but that's what they want us to do. But regardless of that, we need a lot of space for all of our systems that need to go underneath of the flooring. So in total, we have to dig down about 60 centimeters, which is, I think, exactly 2 feet, because about half of that is actually, so let's say half, is to put a crawl space, which is just open air. We will put down forms that will allow air to run underneath and dry out underneath of the house. Then you have to have several layers of moisture barrier. We will have about 10 centimeters, what is that, 4 inches of foam insulation. And then we have our finished floor, which is where we will run some of the water pipes. Some of the bigger pipes will go down lower, as well as our electrical, and then leaving space for the actual finished floor. People have suggested, alternatively, we could have built up the floor by 2 feet, but the ceiling is already relatively low, which would, if we had built the floor up, the ceiling would have been about this high from our head. So realistically, this was the only option to dig down 2 feet. It's just unfortunate that it's the bulk of the work. It literally is the bulk of the work renovating this house, because in some areas we have no walls underneath like this, so we have to underpin, which is excruciatingly slow. And in other places we have solid rock. So right now I am sitting on bedrock. All of this around me is solid rock. And thankfully it's the exact depth here, but it quickly angles up. So by the time we get to the front door over here, it'll be solid rock right at the surface. So we will have to bring in a heavy duty jackhammer, more so than the one that I currently have, to break up that stone. So it's slow going, but we're close. Like, it's not gonna be that much longer. And then the fun work of rebuilding everything can start. I turned the camera off, and then I went into the other room to grab another tool, and I heard a loud pop. The rock that is almost 4 inches thick just kind of exploded. It was just sitting on the ground. It was sitting on the cold ground. That's so weird. Because this stone is probably 120 degrees right now. And I set it on the cold ground and it just went pop. That's fascinating. Gotta cut another stone. I changed my mind. I decided to keep the stone because it happened to break right in the center. So now all of these are, what is that, 30 centimeters each, and then the final will be the same dimension. And I kind of like how it's got a puzzle piece aspect there. So now I'm just pressuring them up as tight as possible, pushing them back. So that everything is nice and flush. And then that's it. So the next time I mix up cement, I will put it into a pouch. It looks like a cake decorating funnel. I will squeeze cement underneath here now that I've propped them all the way up. I'm pleased with that. It was a lot of work. Choosing to do a house like this, all of the hardest work for the house is happening now. It's the fact that the walls don't run deep enough. It's all of the underpinning. That's what goes so slow. And we're so close. And once we get past that, things move so fast.